It gaff till a gaff. It gaff till a gaff. I'm illy with the till a gaff. Illy with the till a gaff. Nit gaff, nit gaff. Nit gaff, nit gaff.
Alright then. So welcome once again to Freethinking, the Grand Gola Papa Lifestyle Channel podcast. This is a podcast for yeah, I don't have the cards again. Because as you can see, this is another Drink Champs edition. So I'm up here in the old house on my own. It's almost virtually cleaned out, and I'm having a little bit of white wine. I don't really do white wine, but I got into Carve around my birthday. Cause I know like champagne. I do like champagne because, no after effects. So anyway, sipping on a bit of that. So slightly inebriated, certainly not drunk. Lord God, no. But I'm loose. I'm loose, as we say. I'm touched up. Touch me. The drink touched me. Actually, I'm not even touched up, to be honest with you. But anyway, it's something different, and I always like to try different stuff. So today I'm going to talk about ghost writing. Now, obviously, ghost writing is a job. It's a skill. So I'm not talking about ghost writing in the broadest of senses at all. I'm talking about ghost writing, particularly when related to hip hop music. So if you're not into hip hop music, well, you still might find this interesting. You might learn something, and if you're not in, maybe this one ain't for you. But let's see how many minutes I can do it. Now, the last two times I did my last two Drink Champs, I was interrupted by people coming, so I had to pause the recording, which meant that I had to it totally invalidated the timer that rings every 7 minutes, and they both went into like 40 and 50 minutes consecutively. So I'm hoping I don't get interrupted today, because at least I might have a chance of getting this wrapped up in 30 minutes or so. Let's see. Ring the bell, baby. Okay, so ghostwriting. Why do I want to talk about ghostwriting? Well, because Drake in particular has been catching loads of heat recently for having a ghostwriter. Actually, I remember I was going to, I don't do any kind of research. I don't know why I said that, but I honestly was about to research the name of the ghostwriter, because the guy's well named, and had loads of people with different songs dissing Drake. Drake is a rapper of sorts, I guess. Now, back in the day, we'd have called him a sing J. We don't really call people like rappers, but now there really isn't much difference ever since, the intervention of auto-tune and stuff like that. There's really not a lot of difference, and he can rap anyway. He can rap, but most of his music's very melodic, and he's really more of a sing J in his delivery style. But anyway, that side of things. So everyone's started jumping on Drake, because Dillygaff haters gonna hate, right? So he's very successful. I would conservatively say he's even he says, I would say I was top 5, but I'm top 2. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably the case. Now he's recently just had this battle with Pusha T. Enough said about that. I say that Drake took an L. Why? Because Drake fans, like Beyonce fans, they just can't fucking admit that their guy can lose. So since his fans are so fucking ridiculous, like he is the second coming and he can never lose, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, you took an L. Pusha T had you, and especially when you start talking about the song that you had that would have ruined his career and ruined Kanye West's marriage, but you couldn't release it. Fuck out of here with that. You know what I mean? That's like a superpower saying, yeah, we was in a war and we had this weapon, man, and we'd have blown you to smithereens, but we just couldn't use it. It's like, shut up. You know what I mean? I don't try and get on the wrong side of Jay Prince because he'll have been killed, right? But my point is, that's lame, yeah? That's weak. Yeah, you got it, use it. If the guy's battling you, he's asked for it, right? Otherwise, don't step into the arena. Don't step into a rap battle not thinking that people are going to take you apart. You don't understand that. Rappers don't need this, but, go watch 8 Mile by Eminem. What did he do in that last rap battle? He did the only logical thing that any rapper can do. Before the guy used all the ammunition against him, he used all his ammunition against himself. So you take away the power of all those insults. Just like anyone that's been bullied in school knows, that's the way you do it. There's a great scene in Cyrano movie, Steve Martin's version of Cyrano the Berger record. He does the same thing where the guy says, "You big nose," and then the whole bar goes way, and he just goes through every big nose joke there is. That you learn if you've been bullied to take away the power, to disempower the bully by claiming, by owning your disadvantage. Another great guy who does that is, I think it's David Dinkage's character in Game of Thrones, and he says again, own your own your foibles, the things that people use to attack you. You gotta own them, because if you don't, they will own them and they'll beat you to death with them. If you own them, they can't hurt you with them. Do you know what I mean? So how did I get there? I don't know. But anyway, ghostwriting. So everyone's on him, man. Everyone's on Drake, talking about ghostwrite this, ghostwrite that, ghostwrite this. Now here's what's funny about it. It was kind of, it was kind of clear that he was using ghostwriters, but it was up for discussion, I suppose, because he didn't admit it. So no one knew until he brought out the More Life album. Now, the More Life album is probably my favorite Drake album. I'm not like a fan like that. I like his music. I definitely liked One Dance, and I liked Congratulations. I've been a kind of sporadic Drake fan. Like when he first came out, I liked stuff like, Congratulations, and, because there's one that sampled this song, Rule the World and stuff like that, with stuff with, when it was with Drizzy. Well, not Drizzy, with Lil Wayne and all that kind of stuff. But I've been a kind of sporadic fan. Obviously, it got bigger and bigger, so his music was harder to avoid. So I started hearing more of it. But my point is, he came up with his album after the album with One Dance on it called More Life. Now I love this album. Like it's been in my car for like a year. You know what I mean? Partly because I'm too lazy to get more music, but partly because I've got like 5 albums on a memory stick in my car. Yeah. I've got a Kanye West album. I'm trying to remember the name of it now, because it ain't Beautiful Twisted Nightmare. It's the other good one. So not the Yeezy album, but the one before that. Damn, why can't I remember them? Pablo, The Life of Pablo. I got that in my car. I got 440 by Jay-Z. I got Drake, More Life, and 3 or 4 other albums, right? And Blurry Face by 21 Pilots. That I'm gonna do a whole podcast on that alone. But anyway, my point is this: it's only Blurry Face and More Life I never bore of listening to. I barely have ever, in a year of driving my car, skipped a track on those 2 albums when they come around. And the other ones I select, sometimes I'm not in the mood for certain things. I skip. I just don't. So I love the More Life album. But the joke about it related to the whole concept of ghostwriting is when Drake, a Canadian, says something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, I don't know the lyrics, "He's blocker, he's a no long talker, quick to make the text slap. Me don't care about our next man." You just thought about laughing. Now, don't get me wrong, Drake, as my boy, my boy Nadi said, from the culture, he's like an amazing magpie. So when I say drop about laughing, not because it's bad, because actually he does it really well. He makes it work. He takes what are very obviously lyrics written by a grime artist, an English person of Caribbean heritage, grown up, particularly in London, frankly, the lyrics are, and he delivers them. But there is no fucking way he wrote that shit. Oh, I should go on record and saying that. There is no fucking way he wrote that shit. It's like me rapping or delivering lines that was written by a Glaswegian in Glaswegian slang and trying to say that I wrote that when I ain't never lived in Glasgow. Just impossible. This didn't happen. You know what I mean? It's not even within the feasible set. So my point is, I ain't mad at it. I think it's fucking brilliant. I've had this conversation with other people who hate it. They think it's horrible. Personally, I think the fact that he can deliver, that slang is brilliant. I think the fact that he used those guys, not only, more importantly, not only did he let them write for him and deliver their slang and bring something new to the American rap, which is getting quite stale anyway, but then he also brought the artists on their record anyway. So this record's got Skepta and Krypton Conan and Gigs on it and Wretch 32. So, It wasn't like the typical music business rip-off where they just rape an artist or rape someone's culture and take what they need from it and then just run away with it. He brought them there and let them shine on their own. Something I don't think I've ever seen anybody else do. The musical rape. So it's not a nice term, but kind of really what it is. It's a real violation when you go to somebody with your ideas and they take your ideas and they put it out there under their name and they don't mention you, even if they pay you. If they pay you, I guess it's cool because then you contracted that that's what you agreed to. Shams. But cheap shams. But when you just rip people's shit off, I know I don't want to belittle rape, but it is a real violation because as artists and creators, I think people underestimate how much that hurts. When you know that you've made something that would bring you success and acclaim. Most of it's acclaim. You don't want money. Most artists work for the acclaim. And when they've come up with something that would bring them acclaim, something new, something fresh, and they would get the acclaim for it, someone says, yeah, I like that. They take it, and they steal it, and then they take the acclaim for it. That's really what hurts. Now, that's when your butt hurts, right? You know what I mean? So I love the fact that he didn't do that. I love the fact that he gave these guys all the acclaim by putting them on the album. Said, this is the style I'm using. Listen to the style. This is a UK style. It's called rhyme. It's a version of rap. I'm rapping in this style, and these are the guys who do it. This is their thing. They're here with me. So I can't ever love him more than that. I know I sound like a stan, right? Stan is like, hip hop for a fan. Thought it's like hip hop for that hoe over there. You know what I mean? But my point is, I probably am a Drake stan now. I really like a lot of his music. The only thing is I'm not one of them crazy ass fans who don't have the ability to understand that, he's still human and he can fuck up, and Pusha T buried him. I'm not that big a fan. But my point is, he's been catching all this heat for ghostwriting. And one of the things that Pusha T brought up when he was dissing him, and even he made his on his retort to Pusha T was like, you make it sound like the guy built my career. I was helping the dude. I ain't so sure about that, Drake. But we can work with that. But what I'm really trying to say is, what blows my mind is why hip hop, and let's go into hip hop. Why? Okay, I'll take a step back. Ghostwriting has always existed in music and in literature and all kinds of shit, but most definitely in music, right? A lot of people got credits for shit that they didn't write. Cool. Now, with hip hop, we actually thought something different had happened. And I think in reality, something different had happened because hip hop was such an organic creation that it really was just kids doing what they could to express themselves with the nothing they had in their hand. It was literally, hip hop is like musical karate. So they say the word karate literally translates to empty hand, because what it means is you don't have a weapon, so now you have to defend yourself with just your hand. And hip hop is like the literal, musical version of karate. You're talking about kids who couldn't afford lessons, couldn't afford instruments, but wanted to express themselves musically. So they took records that had been made by other people and used them to make their own records, by chopping and slicing them and keeping the breaks going so they can make their own records. Some of them maybe couldn't afford vocal lessons to learn how to sing, but they really wanted to get the message across. So they got into the whole rapping thing. And again, they had something to say. So maybe they couldn't get into, a scenario where they learned music, learn how to write music, then they could learn how to write songs and express themselves. So, rapping, I ain't saying that's exactly how it came about, but that's how I understood it because, I was a part of that movement in the UK. When it came to the UK, I certainly wasn't a part of it in the US in the 70s. But in the UK, when it came to UK, I was part of that. So that's how I understood it. It was the opportunity of people without to still participate, So with that, we had this belief that the person doing it, the person representing it, was actually the person doing it. Because that was kind of the whole point. It was your ability to express yourself. Now, what's so stupid about it, I suppose, is something that Richard Ashcroft once said about, I think he was talking about reality TV, paraphrasing again, Richard Ashcroft from The Verve and his own album and stuff. So I like a lot and I respect it a lot. He was talking about the whole point of going reality TV to be famous, just to be famous. Like almost like, what's the point of that? Because you haven't produced anything. And it's the same kind of scenario that, if the whole point of hip hop was we don't have nothing, but we still want to express ourselves, then why would I express myself through someone else's work and talent? So, the whole idea of it, the whole 5 elements was it had to be you. It had to be you breakdancing. You're pretty hard pushed to have someone breakdance for you, but I'm sure people have tried. It had to be you doing your graffiti art. You had to master how to, do graffiti art. Had to be you, on the turntables cutting and scratching. Had to be you rapping. It had to be you. That's the whole point. Is you were the one meant to be expressing yourself. So I think, from my perspective, we grew up with this real kind of spoilt and now it's very clear false belief that hip hop was somehow different to the rest of mainstream music. Because, my 2 favorite movies that break this down, I think, are Cadillac Records and Dreamgirls. I can't remember which of the 2 it is. One's got Jamie Foxx in it. One's got Beyonce in it. I can't remember if it's the same movie with both of them in it. But the point is, there's one scene I'll never forget where the black group makes a record, and it's underground, because it's in the black community on the Chitlin circuit, and then they turn on the TV one day and there's a a blonde white group singing a very, very sterilized version of it. Now that was reality, man. I mean, this is all so historically documented that all the people who want to deny it, deny Holocaust, the earth is flat, we know all of that shit, but for the rest of us, we can basically research and find out that this is exactly how it went down. Led Zeppelin made it very clear they stole the vast majority of their shit, huge swathes of their shit, and so on and so forth, even to the point that, I always thought that, Just Fade Away by the Rolling Stones, who I like, was some kind of accord between Bobby Womack, who wrote it, but apparently, again, he just turned on the radio one day and heard his song on the radio. And he said, what the fuck? Who are these Rolling Stones in England? And why are they singing my song? And why are they top of the charts? So, people weren't getting asked back in that day. And I guess that, I'm stretching it a bit because we're probably talking about copyright infringement, not really ghostwriting. But the point I'm making was that the music business was like that. So, it took me years, for example, to discover that Dionne Warwick didn't write her own songs. Because, even though I've been into music, as a kid who just is consuming music, you don't think about that shit. So, I didn't understand that Dionne Warwick had like a great writing team, that Elton John was part of a great writing team. God forbid we ever forget what happened to Robbie Williams, when he decided to break up from his writing team. He had the entrepreneurial seizure where he somehow believed that he didn't need his writing collaborator anymore. And the rest, man, I think, the worst Robin Williams album in history followed, which funnily enough had a lot of really bad rapping on it, which was, obviously something that he wanted to do. And maybe that's why they parted company. His mistake was he should have done a Drake. He should have gone and got himself some people who knew how to make hip hop and rap and make a good collaboration that allowed him to still make a Robbie Williams record, but with some good music. Because I tell you what, that song Millennium, man, I knew that was a rap song. So the first moment I heard that James Bond sample, I'm like, this is a rap tune. In fact, I'd had that sample loaded up to sample from years before. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, this is a rap song. And then he sang the song as a smash hit. And I think it was the album after that, he tried all this rap stuff that really fucked up because, he had the vibe in him to make this hip hop. This hip hop influenced Robbie Williams pop, but didn't have the talent and didn't seek the talent to help him to do it. He should have done like a Lauryn Hill, get a writing team together. And talking about Lauryn Hill and ghostwriters, bam, there you go again. So, I'm jumping forward a little bit. But yeah, like I said, so we were very sheltered. We really believed that, basically the people doing it were really doing it. If you were rapping, it was your lyrics you were rapping. And if you were breakdancing, that was you. And if you were doing graffiti, it was your graffiti art, etc., etc., etc. I guess with the other elements of hip hop, it was much harder to fake. But with ghostwriting, it's always easy. And why it blows my mind is because there's a very famous scenario with Casanova Fly and the Sugar Hill Gang. And again, if I could be bothered to research it, I'd have given you the details, but it's not hard to find. But there is one of the Sugar Hill Gang rappers, and he actually raps out Casanova's Fly's name. Like, I'm the CAS and the NOV and the CAS and the NOVA, the rest is FLY. Do you know what I mean? And his name ain't Casanova Fly. But again, that's more copyright infringement. So he stole this guy's rap so badly. We used to call it biting. He bit this guy's shit. He stole this other guy's rap so badly that it was such a good rap that the rapper Casanova Fly spelled out his name in the rap. And the guy who stole it spelled out Casanova Fly's name in the rap. So I don't really think we need to have a lengthy court case about if that was copyright infringement and theft. Excuse me, champs. Cheap champs. Yeah, so I don't think we really need to have a lengthy court case about if that was copyright infringement, if he'd stolen that. But with the ghostwriting thing, that I think was like, that wasn't ghostwriting, but that was one of the first examples. And then as we move through the times, I don't want to make it too chronological because it might get boring, but, for example, Salt and Pepper didn't write their lyrics. Herb Love wrote most of their lyrics and most of their songs. But they're an early rap act. They're in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. They're well respected, blah, 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 but they didn't write their own lyrics. Again, I can't go chronologically because I think I'll kind of just lose the whole, it would just get a bit boring basically. And plus, I didn't actually, as I said, plan this out. So there is nothing chronological to be said, but Run DMC wrote their own lyrics. But, sorry to do this, people. I didn't plan this, I swear. But unless you're Illy Will Campbell from Chicago, Chirac, I love the Beastie Boys. Don't ever talk about no third base shit. Unless you're him, everybody else knows that the first Beastie Boys, one of the first songs, Slow and Low, that came out, was written by Run DMC. Now I know it wasn't the first rap that they made. Apparently, I did a quick wiki after that conversation with that guy. And, I forgot about their punk roots and the fact that they made this hip hop song that blew up and I started going to hip hop. But still, when they were on Def Jam, they had a song or two written for them by Run DMC. Run DMC went on the songs, they just wrote that song for them. So, and then the biggest one now, I came in, with hip hop, I tell you when I came in the door. I said it before, I never let the mic magnetize me no more. Okay, I had to, man, rock him. Ain't nobody root for him either. And if someone did, we were going to cry tears because we hold him down as one of the legends. But I came into hip hop. I walked through the door with Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, particularly Melly Mel and The Message. That was my song. That was the song that made my ears prick up and say, this is for me. This is the music I want to be listening to and involved in. This is what I want to be involved in. This is my lane. And so it was heartbreaking for me to find out so many years later that Melly Mel nor anybody else in the Furious Five wrote anything in The Message, which is to this day is probably still their most successful song. The whole thing was written by Duke Booty. And it's really funny because I got the Old School Fools Facebook page. And I posted The Message and said the same thing. This is when I came in. This is what got me into hip hop. And then under the comments in the YouTube from whoever put it up, which is a video of these guys rapping in the 70s, someone actually said, "Who's the sixth member of the Furious Five?" If you look at the video, there's 6 guys rapping. Now, off my head, I remember there was Cowboy, Real McCoy. I'm jumping all over like an almond joy. And then there was Melly Mel. Then there was Kid Creole. I'm a ladies' man. And then there was Scorpio, Mr. Ness. And I forgot the other guy. Sorry, dude. You know what I mean? But in the video, there's 6 people rapping. And someone pulled up and who's the 6th guy? And someone goes, that's Duke Booty. You know what I mean? Who's he? Well, he's only the guy who wrote the whole fucking song. And it's so funny because the song was so successful. And this is how life can be so funny. And again, why ghostwriters are so useful. And ghostwriters also need to learn to stay in their lane. This is the version of if Robbie Williams' writing partner had decided, rather than Robbie Williams saying, fuck him, I'm going to write my own stuff on my own. If he just said, fuck Robbie Williams, I'm going to make my own music, and discover that he really didn't have the charismatic personality to sell records or just couldn't sing. After The Message, Duke Booty, made another song called Broadway, which is like a Message Part 2, because he'd seen how much The Message had blown up as a song. And it's like, damn, I wrote that shit and no one even knows it was me. Then he made this song called Broadway that went nowhere. I liked it. Actually, musically, it was horrible, to be honest with you. But, it was kind of all right. But it wasn't. Broken glass everywhere. People pissing on stations that just don't care. Can't take the smell. Can't take the noise. Got no money to invest. I got no. It wasn't that. Jimmy, that lyrically to this day stands up against anything. And here is the beautiful thing. I'll jump into. This is why ghostwriters are not a problem in hip hop, because everyone's saying like, if you're using a ghostwriter, you're fake. But the reality is, not everybody can write a good rhyme, and not everybody can deliver a good line. Now in singing, we've had this forever. We understand this, that, the writing team whose name I can't remember, but wrote a lot of Dionne Warwick stuff, as well as a lot of other classic stuff in the 60s. Not being racist, as I remember, I think they're like two Jewish white guys. But the names just evade me right now. But they wrote loads of stuff, Walk On By and all this shit from the 60s, yeah? They weren't the guys to sing them songs. And it's kind of funny when you look at the person singing the song, and you picture certain emotion, so it's kind of funny for me to think that it was a guy who wrote Walk On By, because you don't think of that. You think of Dionne Warwick, like, hey, she's had her heart broken, she's a black woman, and she's had her heart broken, and she's kind of like, upper middle class, and she's just like, okay, I don't make a scene about it. If you see me, I'm hurt, just walk on by. But that's not the story. It's actually about this white guy who probably had that experience in his life, assuming that, it's based on some element of truth, where he had a woman who he felt that way about, and she broke his heart, and he was like, oh, if you see me, just keep walking on. You know what I mean? And it changes the vernacular completely if you understand the person who wrote it, back to, if you don't know the history of the author, you don't know what you're reading. And if you don't know the history of the author, you don't really know what's being sung. So there is that. But the thing is, everybody, stay in your lane, man. People have got lanes. Some people are great writers. Now, some people are lucky enough to be great writers and performers. Some people are lucky enough, to be better writers or better performers, but can do both. But at the end of the day, some people really are great writers, and they can put together amazing songs for people. And if they find the right person to represent that word, that emotion, that sentiment, then we as the public get something amazing. So why are we trying to destroy that by trying to make everything that comes out of someone's mouth something they wrote? Some guys are amazing singers. Michael Jackson, now I never forget Smokey Robinson spoke about, Michael Jackson's, rest in peace, his talent and how he interpreted that song. I can't remember, when I had you, I treated you fair. I can't remember the name of that song, but everybody knows that song. Do you know what I mean? And Smokey Robinson, who wrote it, was like, I couldn't believe that this kid, whatever he was, 5 or 7 at the time, could take those words and transmit that emotion about things that he'd never experienced. I mean, like, you're a kid. You ain't ever had no woman who you love, but you treated badly, and then she left, and now I'm wondering who's loving you now. But yet you sang that like you did, because some people are born to be a vessel like that. And I know Michael wrote, but he didn't write that shit. Yet he transmitted it in a way that is unforgettable. So like I said, everyone's got to stay in their lane. He had that amazing ability to transmit, to represent the ideas and the feelings of other people, to take on people's emotions like an empath and put it out there. Now, I understand what they felt when they wrote that and present it to us, so we understood it as well. And that's what all great singers can do. So, I don't know why people get so pissy about this. You know what I mean? Well, I do, because like most things, most musicians are like crabs in a barrel. Musicians are like emotional crabs in a barrel is the word I'm trying to say. They're looking for their USP. Why am I better than everyone else? Why should I be the best in the world? So you have these guitar heroes, who are brilliant at playing lead guitar and or, keyboard heroes and or whatever their instrument is. They work so hard being proficient and amazing at the instrument, and therefore think that everyone should worship them, whereas they don't understand that sometimes we just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And actually, we'd much, much prefer somebody with half your skill and twice your heart. And I always prefer someone with twice the heart and half the skill, because it's vibes that we want to pick up on. You know, and sometimes someone will be playing something and looking at the crowd like, why aren't you screaming like crazy? This is so technically different. And I go, because it sounds like shit. And music's meant to be a joyful sound under the creator, so I don't give a fuck how technical your music is. Really, what we want to hear is something that we like the sound of. That is another podcast. But it will sound just like that. So my point is, I don't know why people get so pissy with ghostwriting. It's been going on for so long. The next one I was going to go to, just jumping ahead, is Dr. Dre. I like Dr. Dre. I love Dr. Dre's music. You know, and to use his own words, still ain't hating. Love to see young blacks get money, even though he ain't particularly young. But, you know, I ain't hating Dr. Dre like the first billionaire boy or near enough. You know what I mean? I know Birdman want to be that too, and Puff's chasing that, and Master P's chasing that, and there's a couple of cats chasing being that billionaire boy. But Dr. Dre near enough made it. But my point is, when the YouTube started to come out, and then there's a YouTube of, you know, Snoop Dogg talking about, you know, Jay-Z writing Still Dre. Now, Still Dre is one of my favorite songs. I wasn't really surprised because I'm a rapper, right? So, for example, there's a song, one of my favorite songs on that same album, that Chronic 2, is The Watcher. And there's some lines where it goes like, you know, how would you feel if niggas wanted you killed? You probably moved to a new house on a new hill. I knew Eminem wrote that because Eminem's flow. I was just like, Dr. Dre didn't write that. And if Dr. Dre wrote that, he wrote that thinking like, I want to flow like Eminem. You know, because you just hear Eminem's flow there. The actual iambic pentameter of that rhyme is Eminem all day long. So I knew Eminem had written that. So I wasn't really surprised that, you know, he'd had ghostwriters on that album. And also, if you really think about it, it was also well known that Ice Cube wrote a good portion of the whole of the NWA's first album anyway. He wrote almost all the Eazy-E shit. And good portions of, and what we didn't know at the time is what Ice Cube didn't write, the Doc did. It's the diggy Doc, y'all. So, do you know what I mean? It's like, this is endemic in hip hop ghostwriting. And then he's got this video, there's one like really nice video of Snoop, like, you know, being Snoop, with like hype and stuff, talking about like how he put the hook in, you know, in Still Dre, like, if you ain't up on things, that's Snoop Dogg. But he's talking about, you know, the actual lyrics, the verses are all Jay-Z, because I wrote my lyrics. They're like, nah, that's trash, get out of it. DLC wrote something, nah, that's trash. Jay-Z come through, yeah, that's the shit. Do you know what I mean? And he's describing the process in the studio. But then here's the other one. Then we go to another, like, I think it was DJ Vlad or one of those other YouTube channels. So does on the YouTube channel. I've been watching a lot of that recently. And he's talking to Scott Storch. Scott Storch is talking about all the songs that he produced that nobody knew. And, you know, he's a keyboard player. So he's like, you know, playing all the songs and then like, bling, 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 bling. Like, yeah, I produced Still Dre. So then people in the comments are quite rightly right. Like, well, if Snoop did the hook, Jay-Z did the lyrics, and Scott Storch did the production, what the fuck did Dre do? Do you know what I mean? And that's the reality. So Dre didn't even have like a ghost writer. He had like a ghost writing production company. And that's why I said the whole Lauryn Hill thing, man. I ain't tried this, Lauren. We all love Lauryn Hill. And I think it's been very sad to see the direction her career went. Yeah, you know, I'll leave it at that. There's been good and bad in the fact of it. But as I said, the reality was, you know, I appreciate, I think she was baited up. I think she was bait. And I think she was, you know, and you can't diss someone for taking bait because I could get baited tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? That's the whole reason why it's called bait, right? Do you know what I mean? Everyone thinks they'll be smart enough to avoid it. But, you know, with that, our hindsight's 2020. But the point is, I'll never forget that picture of her clutching those Grammys, all those Grammys she wrote for the miseducation, or the Grammys she won for the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, knowing that it was made by a production team, a group of people made that whole album, wrote the words and the production together. And, you know, as they do, the record companies try to say, hey, we've got this amazing new artist who did all this shit on her own. You know, and they baited up. So when the people said, like, come on, dude, you know, and you're meant to be a conscious act as well, and you're going for that shit, like, you know, why don't you do, like, obviously, they didn't have a time machine, but principally, there would have been no problem with her doing a Drake, saying, no, thank you for the Grammys, but this is my team, people. This, you know, this Writers Collective, these are the guys who made this album with me, and we'll be back with a new album in your store in 12 months. And then what that allows the people at Rights Collective did was like, hey, we want to know about you guys. You guys watching the album, and then not only do you pay them, but you give them the boost in their career of being acknowledged, which is the much, much, much better currency than just the money that goes in their bank account. Do you know what I mean? Now, there have been people who made this mistake. I know there's a conversation. I was still making music about Phil Collins, and the album he made, and he used a couple of very famous musicians, but they took money, not points. And then when the album blew up, they all turned around and said, "No, man, we only got paid the session fee. Why didn't we get points?" And they said, "I offered you points." I mean, you didn't have enough faith in my project to take points, so I offered you points and small amounts of money, or the biggest fee I could pay you. You took the fee. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. Everyone's trying to play it as, oh, the big exploitative guy used to be in Jennifer's exploitative guys. I'm like, no, dude, that's business. That's fair enough. Do you know what I mean? You sometimes have to have faith in either yourself or in another project, and you've got to think long term. You could have taken the points and that album could have flopped. And then a TV show could have come and picked it up and used it as a bloody introduction to the show, and it could have blown up and been played it could have been an intro to Friends on TV somewhere in the world every minute of the friggin' day, and you got points on that. So, okay, they might have been badly financially advised, etc., but that's what we've got to get over. What you don't get to do is bitch about someone when you took bad advice or took no advice. You got to wipe your mouth and go, shit, I'm learning for that. Who's the next guy paying for a session? Yeah, I want points. Do you know what I mean? And we move on. So again, off the track, but like I said, with the ghostwriting, I don't even know why it's an issue. I don't get it. It's bullshit, because there is so much history of ghostwriting in hip hop. It's absolutely friggin' ridiculous. As much as, as I said, haters gonna hate. And, Drake's carrying the swing at the moment, has been for a while. So people are pissed with him and they're all getting pissy about his success. Even if someone's pissy about someone's success, why the fuck are other people listening to the fact that they're pissy about the fact he uses a ghostwriter when almost, I don't know, I mean, Puff Daddy didn't write shit. What did Puff Daddy say in his lyrics after all the accusations of ghostwriters? Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks. He didn't say, how dare you say I use a ghostwriter, I pen this shit myself. No, he said, don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks. It's been so endemic in hip hop that we have to just grow up. We have to pull up our big boys' pants now and accept that ghostwriting is a part of hip hop. And more importantly, accept that ghostwriting is a good part of hip hop. Mad Skills, again, this is the flip side. Mad Skills was a ghostwriter. He ghostwrote for so many people in his day. And then he caught feelings. Kiki, do you love me? He caught feelings, man. He's like, hey, I'm a ghostwriter. I wrote that. Dude, pull up your big boys' pants. That's what they paid you to do. Stop running around crying about the fact that you wrote all these hits. Because you know what? And I say this with the greatest respect, kind of rappers like to get mad and shoot people when they get in their feelings. Shall I do it again now? You probably hear it's like fed up, I'm a bad Drake singer. But here's the thing. Pull up your big boys' pants, dude, because at the end of the day, when you came up with your album after you hyped and you told everybody in the world how much ghostwriting you did, so everyone was waiting for this album to be the hottest shit, it didn't blow up, dude, because you didn't have the personality to carry the songs you wrote. Sorry, bruv. That's what it was. So at the end of the day, be glad that you have the ability to be a ghostwriter and write shit that other people can present in a way that people want to buy, and use your smarts to get points on their albums, so you're living large. And everyone goes, how come you got so much money? I'm a ghostwriter. Written anything I know? Yeah, probably everything. And be glad. Be glad that God gave you that talent to make mad money, giving so much value and enjoyment to other people. Every ghostwriter has an entrepreneurial seizure. I think it was Ciara, or not Ciara, although I know she was a ghostwriter for some people. I think she wrote some stuff for TLC. If not her, someone else. There's a song I never forget. Again, a song called Don't Think I'm Not. And when I'm out in the club, no, when you're out in the club, don't think I'm not. When you're out making love, don't think I'm not. That, do you mean the woman who wrote that used to write for TLC and all this stuff? And again, she had I want my moment. I'm writing for this group and they're blowing up and everywhere and they're on the MTV awards and da da da. I wrote that shit. So okay, we gave her a moment. She got the moment. That song actually did a what? Never heard from her again. You weren't the person to carry the song. It's not right. Maybe you didn't have the presentation lyrically. Maybe you didn't have the presentation physically, or the way that you perform on stage. Maybe you didn't have the charismatic personality to do the interviews. Whatever it is, you ain't the person to carry them songs. So be glad for the talent you got and rinse that talent, focus on that talent, and make that work. You know what I mean? So that's all I can say, man. I think the whole ghostwriting debate is completely and utterly fucking mute. If you claim to be a hip hop fan, you like a song that was ghostwritten. Do you know what I mean? Not everybody's Rakim or Nas. Those guys are very specific, or Jay-Z or Biggie. But surely there are songs that have been ghostwritten by someone else at some point that you've liked. So stop bitching about it. Understand what it is. I understand that everyone's got a lane. It'd be grateful that some people are amazing at writing songs that other people can take up, interpret, and present. Some people are great at interpreting songs that other people have written, and you get to sit back in your house eating corn chips with your Dre Beats headphones on, doing the crackhead neck break head nod, and listen to that shit, and it embellishes your life. And if you're gonna use that to attack Drake, or anybody else, man, you ain't been paying attention. You're making a fool of yourself because, like I said, you done love ghost written shit. So why are you getting mad at this guy's got a shit Drake? And Drake, of all people, who couldn't have made it plainer. Drake should have just got it. Well, he did. To me, More Life was an album More Life is a t-shirt that says, I use ghostwriters. Or do I look like somehow I was translated to, transmuted into a grime artist from London for 2000, circa 2000. No, this is not my speech. This is not my vernacular. And neither was I brought up in the Caribbean when I was doing One Dance with Rihanna. Motherfucker, come on, man. I was camping on you. Come on. I mean, it's like, come on. Seriously, get a grip. It's like, it's absolute nonsense. But yeah, the debate rages. So I think we should kill that debate. It's foolishness. Ghostwriting has always existed in hip hop. First, admittedly, it was biting or people stealing people's copyrighted lyrics. But then it went to ghostwriting, and it's a good thing. We get a better product when you have somebody who's a good writer teams up with somebody who's a good artist presenter to interpret that music and or lyrics, and we're the ones who win, because we get the best product, and that's what it should be. I done said enough. I done sipped my cheap imitation champs. What I will say about these drink champs podcast episodes is, I don't know if I was actually more interested to see if the drinking, the inebriation, the lubrication showed my problem, because I play these back and it really gets on my fucking nerves. I don't think it has. I think it's basically just cured my concern for time, because every single one I've done while having a little drink, I've had absolutely no interest in stopping what I'm saying. And it definitely didn't solve that problem. There you have it. But I've had no interest in, curtailing what I've had to say. I've quite happily sat here and rambled on. So, comments, please. Let me know if you prefer a slightly inebriated Grande Gorda Papa, or if you prefer the very, very, very pent up, I need to get this done in 7 minutes. Shit, that bell rang. Let me see if I can finish it in 14. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm still talking. I'm definitely going to stop by the time it's 6:21. Let me know which of the versions you prefer. Thank you for your time. We are.
It gaff till it gaff. It gaff till it gaff. I'm illy with the till it gaff. Illy with the till it gaff. Nit gaff, nit gaff. Nit gaff, nit gaff.